I'm Dean Safola, and this is the Azure Academy. Thanks for joining us again at the Azure Academy, and we are continuing our series on Azure Active Directory. And if you haven't done so already, please do click on that subscribe button and join us here at the Azure Academy, as well as leave us some comments below on any questions you have or what you'd like to see in a video in the future. So today we're going to be discussing hybrid identity, and this is where we can bring in identities to the cloud from other places, and most notably on-premise, but also from other Azure Active Directory tenants or identity environments. For example, you can see here in the top right, I'm logged in as my Microsoft identity into the Microsoft directory. So if I go to Azure Active Directory here on the left, we can see that I'm logged into the Microsoft directory. From here, I can switch directories, but also that same functionality you can find under the user ID. There's a switch directories button there, as well as a dedicated button for it at the top. Under my all directories, you can see every directory that my user account has access to, and that's currently Microsoft and the MS Azure Academy. So before I switch over, let me show you my current subscriptions. These are subscriptions that are within the Microsoft Azure Active Directory tenant that I have access to with this account. So when I go to switch directories and I switch to MS Azure Academy, it'll log me in here for the first time. And again, I'm using the same credentials I was using before. And if I go to my Azure Active Directory over here on the left, we can see we're in the MS Azure Academy tenant. Now, when I look at my subscriptions here under all services, there are no subscriptions that I have any access to with this identity underneath this Azure AD tenant. Now, I can grant myself access into these subscriptions if I have permissions in Azure AD to do so. So if I go back to Azure AD and I look at users, we can see here that my user of my Microsoft account is here as a guest, and it is a source of external Azure Active Directory. So this user has membership in some other Azure AD tenant, and now it's used here in my Azure AD tenant. When I click on this user, it's just like every other user in the environment. I can give it a directory role. It can be a group member. It can do all these kinds of things. And I've given it the role of global administrator, which means that this user now has full control over my Azure Active Directory. Now, I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. You probably don't want outside people being given high-level access in your subscriptions. I'm just doing it to prove the point that you can do it. Also notice here under users that I do not have any users in this environment outside of my external Azure Active Directory account that is a guest. So all of my on-prem IDs are not here yet. We're going to cover how to do that today as part of our discussion on Azure AD Connect. So Azure AD Connect, as you can see here in the portal, is a tool that you can download, which is going to synchronize your identities from on-prem typically, or could be your VMs running in another cloud or in another Azure subscription, and have them sync into this tenant. So then they can have access to stuff in this tenant, and then you can use and enable other features, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Where would you install Azure AD Connect? So first of all, it does not have to be installed on a domain controller. It can be installed on any member server. So with that said, it certainly will work on a domain controller. And because I have a small lab, that's where I'm putting it today, but you can put it wherever it is that most fits your environment. The other thing here is the Azure AD Connection Health. And this tool is good for going through things like synchronization issues, particular services that you are syncing, if you're using ADFS and authorizing your Azure AD to work with it, as well as Azure AD domain services, and look at some of the syncing options here, as well as some settings around the auto update health, and if you would allow Microsoft to see your tenant health data for troubleshooting purposes. Let's go over to our documentation, and we'll go under products. And on the left here, we'll go down to identity, and then we'll go to Azure Active Directory. And in our main docs page, we'll scroll down here to hybrid identity. So what is hybrid identity? Basically, where we can take identity from one place, Active Directory on-premise, synchronize it out to the cloud, utilize higher level security features like doing password hash sync, pass-through authentication, password write back, federation, single sign-on, user self-service for password reset, all those kind of things are enabled through a tool like AzureAD Connect. And if we scroll down a little bit here, we can see the common scenarios and recommendations for how you should configure your environment. So for example, if you wanted to use something like smart card authentication, you would have to use ADFS. However, you could do pass-through authentication and single sign-on using just AzureAD Connect. So let's jump over to my environment here. The next thing we need to do is install the AzureAD Connect tool, and I've got that right here. So if I double click this to install, and then we'll click run, and then I'll just minimize these other things so we have a clear window. All right, so on our first screen here, we'll click I agree to the terms, assuming of course that you have read the license agreements and are okay with everything, and you click continue. And now we come to the big question of IT, do we do express settings or custom settings? So the official word from the product group is that you should use express settings. Reasons for this are basically that it will set up your environment in the most typical way that we recommend customers set up their environment. This will do things like set up password hash sync, as well as take your directory structure in its entirety, users and groups, and funnel them up to Azure Active Directory. That's certainly a good practice, and if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. I, however, am going to customize. So you can see we've got a couple options here. We can set a custom install location, and if you want that, you just pick the particular directory, as well as if you have a separate existing SQL server that you want to leverage. I do not in this case. If you have an existing service account that you want this to run as, which I do not. And then if you want to specify any custom sync groups, again, I don't, because we're going to do some of these things further down the install. So I'll just let the install go to its default and we'll hit install. And then it's going to be setting up an instance of SQL Server Express for our database. Continuing with the installation, where we're talking about now the user sign-in experience. Several different options here. Which one should we choose? Well, it really depends on your scenario. We can first of all not configure this at all. This is definitely not recommended. At the very minimum, you should be using password hash sync. So what exactly is password hash sync? Basically, what we had a concept of way back in the beginning was where we would take passwords and synchronize them from on-prem to Azure. Security people didn't quite like this for understandable reasons. We don't want to sync passwords in the clear from one place to another. So instead, what we do now is we sync the hash. So first thing is we get the MD5 hash of the user's password, and then we iterate that through SHA-256 about 1,000 times. And once we have that final hash, we send that hash up to the cloud. So the password hash is what's synced, not the password itself. So when the password changes on-prem, it usually takes about 2 minutes or so before that sync has pushed up to the cloud. That's password hash sync. And at the very minimum, password hash sync is what you should be using. So the next one is pass-through authentication. And pass-through authentication works instead of that authentication happening in the cloud. It will pass that request to Azure AD back to on-premise to a domain controller that will actually do a Win32 logon to validate your creds and get you logged into the environment so that you can do whatever you need to do. And the last two options here for federation with ADFS or with ping federate are just two different methods of doing federation. And of course, another thing that you can do with ADFS is also use domain hints, but that's something that we'll get into in our next video. And the final box here is for enabling single sign-on. And so we're definitely going to use that because it allows you, as the bubble here tells us, to use the single logon to your corporate environment, whether that's on-prem, whether that's across an application in the cloud. Then once you are, the rest of your authentications will just pass through and accept your credentials. So we're going to enable that because it'll make our lives a little bit easier going forward. And we'll hit next. Now we need a set of credentials where we can authenticate to the Azure AD environment. Okay, and now that we've authenticated with our global admin credentials, now we need to verify what domains we want to use. So in this case, I've only got one domain in my forest, and that is msazureacademy.com. But if you have multiple domains in your forest here, then you can pick any one of those. So I'll click add. Now we need to use either an existing AD account or create a new enterprise admin account for this. So I'm going to use an existing account. And I'm specifically using an existing account because I do not want to add another enterprise admin into my environment. So I'll hit OK. And now we've been validated here, so we can click next, and it's going to review our schema, and there we go. So now's where we get to choose which particular attribute of our users that we're going to focus on as we connect these two worlds together. In this case, I'm going to just use the UPN, which is the login, wvd@msazureacademy.com. That's your UPN. And if you don't like that, you can pick any of the other attributes that are listed here. Whatever works for you. I'm sticking with the UPN, and we'll hit next. And now we get to the part where we're going to filter or not filter what things we're going to send across the wire through AzureAD Connect to our cloud directory. The default here, and this is what you'll get if you choose Express as well, is to sync all domains and OUs. I'm going to choose instead to do a specific sync, not on the entire tree, but on the corp OU and everything in it that I created already as part of this. So if you want to choose to do everything, that's certainly fine, but you may get some things that you didn't really intend. For example, you would get all of the default groups and users that are in your environment. So if you want that, no problem, that's great. But if not, then do a specific sync and just choose the particular OUs that you want. So we'll hit next. Now we need to uniquely identify the users and tie them together from on-prem to the cloud. And we can do this by using what's called a source anchor. Now the source anchor is that single attribute that we're going to use to connect them, but you can also use any one of these other attributes that are listed here. And you can see there's quite a lot of things here, so you can feel free to pick whatever attribute you want or simply let Azure manage it, which is what I'm going to do. So we'll hit next. So this gives us the opportunity to create a single group that I want to use to push things out to Azure, although be aware that nested groups are not supported at this point. So I'm going to just choose to synchronize all users and devices, and that'll be everything under my corp OU structure. And we'll click next. And then we get to the optional features here. Now, this part depends greatly on which license model you have. For my case, I have basic here, and so I can do password hash sync, which we set up on another screen. I can also do password write back, which means if I make a change to the password in Azure, that password change will be written back to my same user on premise. These other features, you need a P1 or P2 license in order to be able to use these. Or they're related to things around Exchange, which I just don't have in my environment at this time. All right, so we'll hit next. And now we need to, since we chose enabling single sign-on, enter our credentials for our environment. And this does need to be a domain admin account, and I'll hit OK. And we're good to go, so we'll hit next. And now it's going to go through and configure our environment. Once this is done, we can have the checkbox here to force a synchronization. Now you can choose to not do this now and just do it again later on, as well as we can choose to enable staging mode. So in the staging mode server is around high availability of AzureAD Connect. So I'm not going to enable that at this time, but we'll click install. All right, so everything has been set up here, and we'll click exit. And so now we have on the desktop AzureAD Connect, and if you click this, it will not actually open the sync engine, but rather the configuration tool. And then you can go through, click configure, and look at your current config. So we'll do that real quick. Then you'll see all of the particulars around how you set it up. Now under the start menu on the system, a new folder item for AzureAD Connect. And in here, we've got AzureAD Connect itself, which is the same thing that we saw on the desktop, as well as the sync rules editor, the synchronization service itself, and we'll open that. And this is where we can start to see the operations that go on behind the scenes to make syncs happen. So first thing you can see is that we have done a full import. That's what happens when we left that checkbox at the end of the installer. And we can also force this through PowerShell. And once you have installed the AzureAD Connect tool, you will also have the sync module. So I'll go ahead and do an import on that. And now that that module's been imported, these two commands down here are how you can force synchronization. So this first one here is the initial, that would do the full import. And then the delta which would do delta sync, so changes since the initial. So first thing I'll do is run a delta, and that was successful. So if we look back at the tool, we'll see in a couple seconds that this will update, and then this walks through a particular progression here. So we do the first thing is the import, and then the synchronization, and then an export. So the import is where the Azure AD Connect tool gathers information from the domain environment that it's syncing with. And then after that is done, it does a synchronization delta inside the metaverse. So it's parsing all of that information. And then it does the export, and that's what it sends out to Azure Active Directory. And then we can see down here, we've got all of the things that it has communicated and sent out. So I've got 21. And these are all of my different users that I've got in here. And so we can click on any one of them and take a deeper look at what we've got. Now, down on the bottom right is also where we would find any errors in synchronization if we came across them. And we'll look at connectors for a second. And the connector has to do with the environment that we're syncing with. Then I can look at the properties around this, look at the connections to the forest. I can change what I'm authenticating with here to my domain. So if we open the .onmicrosoft.com, we can see under connectivity here that we've got a specific user that has been set up in order to do the synchronization process. So if we go back to the Azure portal, and this time I'll log in through the Azure portal app that I've got installed on this machine. And if we go to our users, then we can see that first of all of our users have synced from our environment, and their source is our Windows Server AD, telling us that they have been synced from on-prem. But we have a special user here, and that is the on-prem directory synchronization service account. And if we open that up, we can see that there is our sync user that is being used from on-prem from Azure AD Connect to sync with the cloud. And that has a special directory role, and that is directory synchronization. And if we look at the description for that, we can see all of the rights and rules that it has associated with it. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at the Azure AD Connect tool and all of the varied options that it gives us. The biggest benefit being that it links the two different worlds together from on-prem to the cloud, and it enables us for other things going forward. Things like password hash sync, user self-service, write back, as well as other security features if you have other licensing like P1 or P2. So if you haven't done so already, please do click on that subscribe button. It just lets us know that you're interested in our content and want to join the Azure Academy community. And while you're down there, hit the notification bell so that you can get a notice when our videos come out, which is roughly once a week. And click on that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video today, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy learning.